Chris Vince, leader of the Labour group in Harlow. A no post, congratulations, but it looks like a big mountain to climb.
Well, first of all, thank you, Michael. It's obviously a huge honour to be elected not only by my fellow councillors but also by members of the Labour Party in Harlow to take on this really, really important role. Of course, it's a little bit of a bittersweet victory because obviously we're now in opposition and we lost some wonderful councillors when we were standing in the sports hall a few weeks ago, including, of course, Mark Ingle, who was in my view, a brilliant leader of the Labour group and a brilliant leader of the Harlow Council. Absolutely, going into the chamber on Thursday and seeing so many Conservative councillors, can be seen as a bit of a daunting task. But I feel very confident that absolutely, that the only way is up. It's there are going to be some bumps along the road, of course, but it is about how we rebuild as a local party. And for me, it starts here in the community, talking to residents.
Did you sit there on Thursday thinking and seeing so few Labour, so many Tories? Was that quite a humbling experience for you?
I think it was a reflective experience for me, and it was kind of, I suppose, you and I were both there at the count, and obviously we saw, as I say, some fantastic colleagues lose their seats. It was quite sad, but I suppose you kind of recognise the task when you see those councillors. So humbling perhaps, but I think also very, very motivating as well, because I feel very, very strongly that, and you won't be surprised to hear me say this because I was part of it, that actually the Labour administration Harlow Council did some fantastic things. We did start a process of building council houses, regeneration, and also we supported this town. Again, Mark was leading on that, and through one of the most difficult periods in recent history. So I feel very, very passionate about. I don't want the Conservative administration to perhaps rewrite that history, and to get. I suppose my role is kind of threefold. It's about talking to residents, talking to the community. It's about providing that scrutiny, which is hugely important, but it's also about ensuring that people, that message of what Labour did do for this town and what Labour will do for this town gets through.
Did you think Labour were to blame for losing the council, or do you think there were other? I know maybe you want to move on now, but just one quick question is: do you think Labour were to blame for losing, or do you think there were other bigger factors at work here?
Well, look, first of all, this is part of the process of rebuilding, is talking to residents and finding out why they didn't vote Labour. Today, I've said to you before, this is mainly an opportunity to talk to residents about local issues and do that really, really important day-to-day work of being a councillor. But it is important that we reflect. It is important that we talk to residents about why they didn't come out and vote Labour. I said to you when we chatted about this before, I don't have all the answers. I still don't have all the answers. I think it would be easy for us to give very simple solutions to what's probably quite a complicated issue. I think there are things that we could have done better locally. Like I said earlier, we could have done more to promote the great things that we did as a council, but also there will be national things. One very huge thing, the coronavirus, obviously, that will have its effect and its part to play as well. But it doesn't mean we shouldn't take responsibility for the result, and we shouldn't look at how we can improve as well.
Because you've been in politics a wee while now, things can change, can't they? And you think about eviction notices ending or changing in June, furlough ending in September. So many of the things people might have voted for, they might suddenly get a rude awakening and vote against. So politics is a fragile ecosystem, isn't it?
Yeah, and I've experienced that myself. I've had some really, fantastic nights in politics and some very disappointing nights in politics. And I would say, Thursday the 6th of May was the most disappointing, and I've had some disappointing nights, as you know. But yeah, politics does change. I believe very passionately that actually it's the Labour Party that can make the biggest difference to this town, and we have made a big difference to this town in terms of the council. But absolutely, things will change, and we. Totally, particularly at the moment, with everything that's happened over the last year or so, things are changing, almost all the time.
The first thing I saw Labour members or Labour activists discussing on social media is the makeup of the Tory portfolio holders, in that they all seem to be male and white. And I thought, is that what 85,000 people in Harlow are thinking about right now? And therefore, is there a danger that you become some niche, irrelevant group that is not in tune necessarily with the people of Harlow?
Well, first of all, I share the disappointment that we've got an all-male cabinet. I think that's a real shame. I think there's some real talented women in politics within our town. We've got some fantastic female politicians in our party still. Sadly we lost the wonderful Emma Toll, who, as you know, was a fantastic councillor. But we've also got brilliant councillors in well, Maggie is a fantastic vice chair, as you know, and been a real figure for this in this town. And also, of course, I've got two shadow portfolio holders in Eugenie Harvey and Nancy Watson, who were previously portfolio holders and very good portfolio holders. You'll forgive me to pay tribute, of course, to the late great Francis Mason, who was a wonderful councillor and a wonderful portfolio holder. So I think it's a shame that isn't reflected in their portfolio holder team. But to answer your question, I think it's very important to say that the Labour Party is relevant in Harlow. It's going to continue to be relevant in Harlow, and we're going to be on the side of residents in Harlow. And that's why I'm out here talking to residents to make sure that we're listening to what they are concerned about. I think Labour members are right to be disappointed, as I am, and I hope everybody is disappointed to see an all-male portfolio holder team. But there are other issues that we need to discuss, and there are other things that we will need to, moving forward, challenge that administration on.